Hi guys, welcome back to the channel again. So today I'm just going to talk about, I don't know if I should call them culture shock. To me it was culture shock, and up to today some still amaze me and they're really interesting. But this is just differences between my country and the country that I'm in currently, and differences basically between Kenya and the United Kingdom. There are very many differences, I bet, and I think it's a difference in wholesome as well in general between Africa and the European countries. So basically I'm gonna talk about specifically Kenya and the United Kingdom. So stay tuned guys, because there's a lot to talk about, and I think I'll make it a two-part video because there is a lot to talk about. So the first thing I did realize when I came into this country is most people wear sneakers, jeans, old schools, canvases, and they don't really worry much about dressing. Because back in my country we would wear heels, you know, when you're going to the city center, what we call town, rather Kanairo, you'd see someone walking in heels, someone's dressed so good, someone's done their makeup, someone's looking really nice. We'd call it a 𝐒𝐿𝐴. So here I noticed that they don't really care much about dressing, and the everyday basic wear in this place is sneakers, old schools, canvases, and jeans, tops if it's in the summer, jackets if it's in the winter. But in my country where I came from, people loved to dress. So here dressing isn't really a big thing. Because there was one time I was going to see a friend in central London, and I had put on red lipstick and I was looking really nice, but I just want sneakers and, you know, boyfriend jeans and a top. It was summer that time, and I'd put on red lipstick and I'd done my makeup, and people were really looking at me, and I wondered why are people really looking at me like that. I don't know, because I don't think I was overdressed, but it did feel weird at some point because I don't like walking when people are looking at me. So it did feel weird, but I don't know, I don't think I was overdressed. And if you're coming from another country, you can find yourself overdressing or underdressing for occasions in this country. So that's something again that's still is quite, up to today I haven't really grasped it yet, but that's it. They do dress for occasions, but they don't really overdo, because I know in our country we did overdo. So that's the first thing. Dressing is very different. The second thing is in Kenya we did a lot of cash payments, and if it was non-cash payment it would be either a bank transfer or an M-Pesa. It's an app, the app that Safaricom provided for people to be transacting money. But here we use a lot of direct debits. So what I mean by direct debit is that you've given your information out to like your landlord, and every month they take like the rent from straight from your bank. So that's what we call a direct debit. So payments are taken straight from the bank by your Wi-Fi company, your TV company, your rent, and if you're subscribed to like Netflix, Amazon Prime TV, Paramount, Disney. So that is what I call direct debit. They take the cash straight from your account, bank account, monthly. And again we have there's a lot of contactless payments in this country. Cash, there is cash, but very rarely. I also don't walk with cash around. And when I see contactless payments, I mean this. So let me just show you. So there's this card I had shown you last time when I was going to get my eyelashes done. So this is an Oyster card, and this card is what we use for traveling. So there is a number back here, okay, and when you have the app or whatever, you load in cash using this number through the app. Then the moment that you touch into a station or the bus, the cash that you've added will be here. Or rather, if you would like to load in cash onto this Oyster card, you can load in at the usually at the train stations, I guess, or at the off-license stores. They will load the cash for you. So you give them the card. I do have two, so you give them the card and they will load up the cash, and you give them the cash that you want loaded up, and they load up the card for you. So these Oyster cards are gotten at off-license stores, mostly, that have this logo, that they have the Oyster logo. Okay, so this is the Oyster card. So we use most contactless payments. Our bank cards look like this. Is my card, and it's got this shape, like 4 lines here, so that means it can go contactless. So wherever you're at a shop or anything, as long as anything has got this sign, wherever you're paying with, you're gonna be able to, you know, tap the card and it takes out the exact payment that it's meant to take out. So that's how we pay in supermarkets, in shops, in wherever you need to pay, contactless payments. It's less of cash transactions. Okay, then the smallest value of note in Kenya is a 50 shilling Kenya note. I don't have an example, but sorry, so as I was saying, the smallest value of our Kenya shilling note is 50 shillings, then 100, then you've got 200, then you've got 500, then you've got 1,000. So 1,000 Kenya shilling note, that's the largest denomination of currency or money that we have back in Kenya. But in this country, the largest denomination is 20 pounds. And right now, this I have is, let me show you. So we have from 5 pounds. So the largest denomination of the note is the 50-pound note, which currently isn't much in circulation because, again, of counterfeits and everything. So I think they're going to design a new one and put it out in circulation. But right now, the highest is a 20-pound note. And if you go to the ATM and you want to withdraw 50 pounds, they will give you 2 20-pound notes and 1 10-pound note, something of that sort. So I do have a 10-pound note here, guys, and this is how it looks like. So their money looks like nylon. Looks like nylon. Has this clear part here. So this is a 10-pound note. That's the front. That's the back. This is Queen, late Queen, and surprising enough, it can't tear. It can't tear. It's like nylon. It can't tear. So this part here that's bent is me trying to tear it, and it can't tear. So basically, it's like nylon. And this is the 5-pound note. This is how it looks like. I think this must be Winston Churchill. This is the Queen again. Can't tear. Then there are coins. So coins in this country we do have from let me see, because in my country we had 1 bob, 1 Kenya shilling, then we have 5, we had 5 Kenya shillings, 10 Kenya shillings, and 20 Kenya shillings, and a 40 Kenya shilling coin. That's what we had. So in this country we'd have many coins. Let me see. This is 2 pence, 1 penny, 5. Okay. I usually put them in a cup whenever I have change, because then I'll use them all at once. Let me see. There are a lot. 20. Okay, I think that's it. Okay. This is a £1 coin. Don't know if you guys can see. The light is too bright, but this is a £1 coin. That's how it looks like. And then there's also a £2 coin, so it's a bit bigger than this one. Then this is a 2p coin, so it's a bit bigger. This is a 50p coin. It's got the octagonal shape. Yeah, 50p. Then this is 1 penny, really tiny. This is 5p. 5p is also really tiny. Then we've got 20p. This is 20p. And we've got 10p. So they've got more coins and they've got less of notes. They've got less of notes, but they've got more coins. Okay. So the third difference is, I think, the housing. I was so shocked to come here to find the kind of housing, but I think the problem is only in London, and it's quite difficult to find a house in London, let me tell you. And the prices, the rent prices are just really crazy, because you can end up paying almost £1,200 for a studio flat. You can end up paying anywhere between £400 to £900 for a shared flat. For just a room in a house, you can end up paying probably £500 to £600. It depends. And it's quite they're hard to find. The houses aren't that big. They have smaller compounds. They have really tiny gates. And most houses do come furnished. That is, they do have toasters, microwaves, they do have refrigerators and dishwashers. So those are just like basic necessities in the houses. And every house has a postcode, an exact postcode, that if someone gives me their postcode and I put that exact postcode, I will get to where I'm going and I'll find that person. And most houses come carpeted, and they have heating systems because of the extreme weather, the winter. But back in my country, we had really big houses. Like, you had your own big compound, your really big houses. Your parking was just in front of your house. You could park in your compound. You could park outside your house because there was space. Yeah, there's no space to park, especially in London. There's no space to park. But I do hear outside London the houses are bigger, better. You have your own compound and everything is better. But in London, you can't even find places to park, because I usually say, like, if you can drive in London and not hit someone, then you're a really good driver. You can drive in Nairobi town as well, because it's quite hard to navigate sometimes, because most of the times you'll find people's cars are parked on the streets, but there are markings to say that those are parking areas for those people who live there. And back in my country, it was very easy to find houses, but the only thing is that they didn't come furnished. So if you move into a house, you have to buy your own furniture, buy your own stuff. You have to have your own stuff. But here they do come furnished. The only problem is that if the previous tenant was not very clean, you could have some issues such as bed bugs or skin condition. So that is the only problem most of the time. But back in my country, there were no precise postcodes, but you just somehow managed to find your way. And yeah, the housing is totally different. I was so shocked. I was so shocked that you could live in a flat with someone, share the bathroom, share the kitchen, share the living room, and she takes one room, you take the other room, and you're paying an amount of money, and that rent which you're paying, you either have to find out before you start leasing a house. You have to know if it includes all other bills, which are electric, gas, water, and the council tax. Okay, so if your rent is high and it doesn't include all those bills, then there's no need. So you have to look for a house that includes all those bills. But sometimes then again, you can find a landlord that will include all those bills but somehow will not pay your council tax. So then again, you have a problem with the tax board, HMRC, and they're going to contact you via post, They're gonna tell you haven't paid your taxes, and they will give you time to pay it before they start opening a file on you. So that's the thing. The housing is extremely different. The fourth thing is about pets. So I found that having a pet in this country is an expensive venture. They do have laws, they are cared for, and it's very hard to find stray dogs or stray cats in this country. They have laws to protect them. They ought to be groomed. They ought to be cared for like a human being. Some people do jobs as pet sitting. Some people are dog walkers, which are jobs that pay very well, to tell you the truth. And back in my country, there were no laws to protect pets and animals. So basically, it's like they were at the mercy of the human being and all that. And basically, you'd find many stray dogs and cats. And many of those stray dogs and cats do have diseases such as rabies. So that's another difference. So the pets here do have laws. So if you're found mistreating a pet or just doing something fishy with a dog or a cat, you're going to face the law. They do have rights in this country. And I was one day walking, and a lady's dog had just pooed, and she had to pick the poo up and put it in a paper, and she continued to walk with it. So then again, your dog is also not allowed to just poo everywhere. You have to pick up the poo. Yeah, you have to pick it up. So that's just it. So the fifth difference, the weather. The weather back in my country was very bearable. We didn't have extreme temperatures, but this country has extreme temperatures, to the highest this year of which I felt was about 40 degrees, and it was hot. It was bloody hot. It was really bad, and you'd feel like you can't breathe, like you're just breathing warm, hot air, and it was so uncomfortable. It was really bad. You can't cover yourself at night. You can't really, you have to bathe I don't know how many times a day, and your skin just still feels a bit sticky and gooey. So there's a lot happening during that time, and it was really hot up to 2 weeks ago when we had snow, and it was -3, I guess, and we did have the first snowfall. And the lowest of the low temperatures I've seen is -5 degrees. And I remember that I was doing a night shift, and it was really cold. I was wondering why it was so cold, only to check and see it was -5. So we have extreme temperatures here, guys. So you really have to know how to dress. And during the summer, it's just to keep yourself well hydrated. During the winter or the cold seasons, keep yourself really warm, yeah, because even breathing in that cold air just affects you. And yeah, just keep yourselves warm if you're here during winter and all that. So extreme temperatures of up to 40 degrees, and the coldest being all the way down up to -5. That's the coldest I felt. In Kenya, not really. I think the highest was about 30 something. The lowest was about, we've never reached negatives in Kenya, never. It was fairly bearable. For me, I do prefer when it's sunny. I don't like cold seasons. I don't go well with them, cold season. So last but not least, I told you guys it's a lot of stuff, but last but not least, I'll continue this video another time because I'm starting to feel funny. But last but not least is the food. So in this country, it's been hard to get foods I like to eat when I was back in Kenya, and foods in this country expire really quickly. So if you buy foods from the supermarket, they expire really quickly, but there are organic shops around where you can buy foods that would stay a bit longer. For me, I found a way to I buy my meats and my chicken from the organic shop, and I usually like separate and store them differently. Like I section them and I store them differently, and I repackage them like in small papers. So would package like meat for meat that would last me for 3 days or 4 days, and I put them in the freezer, and within 6 months all that stock will have been finished. So that's what I usually do. And you have to be a frequent shopper here because food expires very very quickly. So you have to be a frequent shopper. And there are so many food markets, there are so many African shops where you can, because there's so many Africans in this country, so there's so many, because it's a place where it's like mixed race, mixed people from many different countries. So definitely you'll find something that resonates with your country. But again, they expire quickly. Even me, before I knew about the organic shops, I used to throw away so much food, and the foods do taste different, let me tell you guys. So what I do is, if I want to try something, because if I want to buy sausages, I will buy one brand and try. I won't buy many different brands and try, because that will end up wasting so much money. So I do buy one brand and try at that time. If I don't like it, honestly, I'm not going to suffer. I'll just throw it away. But I usually, in that brand, I buy the smallest so that I can try it. But otherwise, back in our country, foods would stay for long. I know when people went to the village, they would come back with so many dry foods that stayed for long. It was so easy to find because there were mama mbogas, like ladies who sold vegetables outside, and you just get tomatoes, chili, whatever it is, onions, spinach, sukuma wiki. You'd get it outside there, and they would cut it for you. So it was very easy to find those foods. But funny enough, some of the expensive fruits back in my country are really cheap here, like kiwi fruits. Apples reached a time they became expensive, and there isn't much variety back in Kenya. But here there is so much foods, there's so much fruits, and that is what normally I eat a lot of. So much food, so much fruits, wide variety of things I've never seen in my life, honestly. And I do tend to try some which taste nice. Some I have a very sensitive tongue. I don't like to eat something that I don't like at that moment. But again, foods in this country, again, like I said, KFC, there's KFC, we do have pizzas, we do have fries outlets and everything. They're very cheap in this country. And anytime I walk outside, there isn't anywhere that I'll walk. I have like five chips and chicken outlets near where I live, and there's a lot of you can order a lot of things online. You can order it really quickly online. Within 30 minutes it will be with you. So if you do not have self-discipline, again guys, you can be really unhealthy in this country. But again, like I said, I still do prefer my African food. Just why I prefer to always cook for myself, because I know what I like, what I don't like. I have a friend who was kind enough to bring me pilau masala and royco when she went back to Kenya, and I was so happy because I really found it hard eating my food without royco. I love royco. It's one of the best seasonings ever, and when she brought it to me, I felt like I was home again, guys. So that's it for now. I'm gonna continue another day, hopefully, and it is a lot because I've got like everything channeled up for you guys, just to tell you what's happening, and the list is continuing, guys. So thank you so much for watching, and see you on the next one, and bye.